Hey friends, welcome to a fresh Bitcoin update. Actually, yesterday Bitcoin attempted to break upwards, reaching the $85,000 mark, and the market sentiment began to change sharply and radically. Many people now actually believe that the trend has been disrupted again. Bitcoin continues to rise, and there's even a bit of local euphoria setting in. So today, our task is to figure out if this is really the case or if there are some hidden pitfalls. Let's move on to the charts. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to do so below this video. Also, I highly recommend subscribing to my Telegram channel, which I recently started. Here, I regularly publish important news, updates, and information that will be relevant and useful for everyone in the crypto market. Check it out and subscribe. The link is right below the video. My Telegram channel is right here. But now, let's get down to business. So let's begin by going a little bit in reverse, starting with what we discussed in the previous review. During the last episode, we were roughly in this range and talked about where it makes sense to open a long position in the market. I mentioned that even if Bitcoin rises from current levels, there's no point in opening a position. Why? Because our entry would be around here. We need to place the stop below the low, and the take profit would be somewhere in this range. And this gives us a risk-reward ratio of 1-to-1. Therefore, the position becomes mathematically unprofitable for us. And even if Bitcoin continues to rise now, it's unclear where we can open a position right now and what our mathematical expectation will be. So today, our task is to figure out potential setups, potential scenarios, and how events might unfold. Let's go step by step. Let me remind you of the picture. We had a price channel, which I'll go ahead and highlight for you now. Please, this is the price channel. We moved perfectly from the lower boundary to the upper boundary, and then we fell out of it. Now take a look at what is happening. We are currently attempting to make our way back and return. From the interesting moments, let's switch to the daily time frame. Just a second. One of the interesting moments is that we reached the lower boundary of this purple box, defended the low, and now we see a rebound. There are probably some people who opened long positions here, possibly with a stop, and now they are in profit. Firstly, if you are one of those people, I would close the position now because we've reached a very important resistance zone, which we will discuss. I didn't open a position here for a very simple reason. For me personally, this purple block is a completely even zone. The structure here is very blurred and unstable, and the probability of falling down upon reaching this point was quite high. Therefore, in such cases, I prefer to open a position at the lower boundary. Unfortunately, the price didn't reach that point. So I didn't open a position, and at the moment, I don't have a margin position. I don't have any spot positions either. If you haven't seen it yet, last week I made a video discussing a global investment strategy, which I firmly believe is the most successful one out there. In fact, within this particular position, I regularly buy coins as part of this overall strategy. This strategy is never violated. It's a long-term strategy, one that involves looking 5, 7, or even 10 years ahead, which is very far into the future. Let's move on, friends, to a small traditional reminder. If you're trading in the crypto market, always use a quality exchange. Personally, Bybit has been a reliable partner for me over many years. So, if you don't have an account yet, you can click the link below this video, sign up, and give it a try. If you're registering through the app, use the promo code 24676 during registration. You can get up to $30,000 in bonuses with your first deposit. This isn't financial advice, I just really like this product, so why not try it? Maybe he'll be like, too. Plus, for everyone who supports us and trades using our referral link, we launched a trading community last week. The main feature is the trading chat, which is spam-free and focused on a productive atmosphere, setups, positions, and analysis. You can exchange, enter, and watch how other traders trade. It's completely free and available to you through one link below the video. Also, be sure to join us. Now let's take positions. So what do we have now at this point? First off, I want to point out that we've hit the biggest resistance zone. If you opened a long position here, it might be a good time to close it. Firstly, we have yellow lines here, which are marking the level at 85,600, as indicated by this chart. Accordingly, this resistance zone is identified as Zone 1. Secondly, we have once again reached the 200-day moving average. We're currently trading below it, so this zone will act as a psychological resistance level. Additionally, we've fallen out of this price channel and are now positioned at its lower boundary, which serves as another psychological resistance point for traders, especially retail traders. Given this situation, while there's a chance we might continue to see growth, there's also a high probability that we'll experience some downward correction first. It's more preferable, so if the word opposition comes up in conversation, I would cover it locally here in this context. Now, let's take a closer look at the stages I envision for myself, shall we? Setup number 1 still remains at zone $78,000–$79,000. Upon the arrival of the court here, I would consider positions targeting this zone, again around $85,000 to $86,000. If it comes here, that's great. In my opinion, you can look at marginal positions globally. There are more targeted values in the 73 to 74 zone. I also allow for the scenario that we might reach this area. Let me show you the scenarios I consider for myself, so the option is. RBC1 is an option for how we will trade accordingly. For example, we might see something like this in this range, right? And accordingly, there might later be a scenario where a global trading range is forming. Here, we will exit upwards from it, return for confirmation of this level, and then essentially, we will fly upwards. That is, for example, such a scenario seems quite possible to me, in which case it is perfectly feasible to accumulate again in the lower range of 78 to 79. In my opinion, the position here means considering another option for myself. This is where we come into this range, which we've hit, and then we go lower and test the entire zone we discussed earlier. By doing so, we can better understand the dynamics at play and make more informed decisions moving forward. This area extends up to $63,000. Only after we successfully take this level do we begin the upward movement, and then, accordingly, the celebration continues as planned. We are beginning to see some growth, so the overall picture might be structured for us in this particular way. I'm drawing this very roughly. The actual graph might look a bit different. I'm just indicating the target values here. In this case, again, if I am counting on such a scenario, let's say, then the 78 to 79 zone is again preferable because there will be some kind of rebound here, let's say, and it will be possible to position accordingly. Similarly, the 73 to 74 zone will most likely give us a rebound to somewhere higher. It's clear how to open a position globally according to my overall strategy. I repeat, the entire zone from 70 to 60, from 60 to 70, and up to 1,000 is where I plan to operate, specifically between the two purple lines. It is very important to redeem here. Today, I had a conversation that once again reminded me of the importance of adhering to your strategy and basing 80% of your decisions on your psychology and what might potentially happen in the market. Let's just imagine a scenario where you start buying from the $76,000 zone just like I did. And it seems to you that you are ready to invest and everything is okay. But then the price drops to $63,000 and then goes, let's say, somewhere around $56,000, which is a minus 25%. Accordingly, based on your portfolio. So if you had bought, I don't know, let's say for a round number, for easy calculation, $100,000, at the moment your $100,000 would turn into approximately $75,000 to $80,000. $7, yes. Accordingly, how will you feel at this particular moment? First question. Second moment, imagine this drawdown lasts for an entire year. How would you feel, and are you ready to take precautions? The key thought I want to convey today is that there is little interest in the market now, as we see from all indicators. Market liquidity has decreased. What does this tell us? Usually, after such a prolonged lack of interest and sideways movement, we tend to see significant market movements. However, it's crucial to note that we are unable to act on this. Which direction will Bitcoin go? But you should consider both options. How will you feel if Bitcoin reaches a historical maximum, and how will you feel if it falls by 25 to 30%? Both scenarios should fit in your mind, and the balance between them is your strategy and should meet your psychological needs. I've shown the key levels for Bitcoin, which I think are important to pay attention to and consider carefully. If you found this useful, be sure to like this video. The final point I want to show today is the S&P 500. I was actually saying, well, look at how we reached the level I noted, literally point by point at 5,484. We bounced off that level and we are still below the 200-day moving average. We are cutting through this level and there is a probability that we might see a scenario with a downward movement. At the moment, she is currently more likely for me than a sharp rebound upwards, which could potentially happen if the market were to bounce back. Today, Trump is canceling all trade duties and bringing an end to these trade wars in just one day. Is it likely to happen? Unlikely, but if it does, all the scenarios I mentioned would be invalidated and we would soar upwards like a big green candle. So keep in mind that anything is possible in the market. All right, folks, that's all you need to know for today. In my opinion, these are the key moments. If you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All the news and updates will be on the Telegram channel, not under this video. Make sure to join and subscribe. Wishing you big profits. See you next time. Bye for now.